Okay guys, we're gonna try something a little bit different. See if you can see me or not. Okay, cool. I think you can. Good. Hello everybody. This is part 2 of my Sunday movie picks. Movies that I think you guys should check out if you've never seen them. The first one on the list is Bedazzled. It has Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. This is a remake from a 50s movie, but this movie is more modern. It has a really good cast in it, really funny. Essentially, it's about a guy who basically really doesn't like the life that he's living. He's made fun of at work. He doesn't really have any friends. He's kind of a nerd. And then he basically befriends this woman at a bar, playing pool, and basically she grants him wishes, and she proclaims that she's basically the devil. It's kind of a dark comedy, but honestly, it's really funny. I'll show you guys the box and the back of it. The back of it's kind of sweet too, because there's a nice little picture of her in a bikini. And then we're gonna go to Young Frankenstein, one of the best movies ever made by Mel Brooks. It is a black and white movie, but honestly, I still think it's one of his better movies that he made. It's really funny. And then we're going to go to the 90s and Tommy Boy itself. Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, David Spade. This, frankly, is one of the funniest movies ever made as far as I'm concerned. I'll show you the back of it too. This movie, frankly, is one of the best comedy movies from the 90s. Chris Farley had a few movies that were pretty good. This one, Black Sheep, Beverly Hills Ninja. So yeah, he did a few good movies. With the Beverly Hills Ninja also is fairly modern movie from the 90s too. It also had Chris Rock in it too. And here's another Brendan Fraser movie, Blast from the Past with Alicia Silverstone. I feel like people really should watch this movie because it just has such a great cast in it. And the plot is pretty funny, honestly. It follows, the story of a young man who, his family apparently think that the Russians blew up their house, and he basically lives underground in a bomb shelter his whole entire life. I'll show you the, bring it up there for a minute there. And basically he is sent up from the bomb shelter in the 90s to get supplies. He meets up with Alicia Silverstone, and he basically befriends her, and they end up together at the end of the movie. It's a pretty funny comedy movie if you've never seen it. And then we're going to talk about Pleasantville. Pleasantville. Don Knotts, Tobey Maguire, Reese Witherspoon. The cast is really funny. Essentially, it's about a young brother and sister that gets transported back into a 1950s comedy reality show like Leave It to Beaver, and they have to kind of survive in that basically environment without changing the lives of everybody. Really, really funny movie. What more else could I say about it other than just check it out? I think it's even on Netflix if you guys want to check it out. It's pretty good. And then we're going to go to Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams, Sally Field. This honestly is one of his best movies that he ever did. Essentially, he's a irresponsible father who's trying to make his kids enjoy life. The mom is kind of, well, bitchy. Oh yeah, Pierce Brosnan's in this movie too, if you guys didn't know that too. He played James Bond, obviously, in the 90s. I would just say, if you've never seen it, look it up. You probably can watch it. Well, I don't think it's on any streaming sites, so I think you guys might just have to buy it now. They re-released it actually on Blu-ray recently with the deleted scenes and interviews with the cast. Solid picture though. One of my favorite Robin Williams movies ever. And then we're going to go to a movie that you guys probably don't even know about. Multiplicity. Michael Keaton, Adrian McDowell. So what this is essentially is it's about a guy who basically discovers how to make duplicates of himself, and basically they develop their own personalities throughout the movie. It's pretty interesting. I'll show you the back of it too. And then we're gonna go to Black Sheep. Black Sheep, Chris Farley, David Spade. And then essentially this movie is about a brother who is trying to help his older brother run for like governor, and he's kind of a screw up. He's always, screwing up things. The other thing that's really funny about this movie is some of the scenes when they're in the forest, when they're camping and stuff like that in the cabin. Like the scenes when he's falling down the hills and stuff like that is really, really funny. I'll show you the back of it too. But this is one of the best David Spade movies I've ever watched, honestly, if you've never seen it before. And then we're going to talk about House Party. House Party, honestly, is one of the most underrated movies, in my opinion. It is really, really funny. House Party 2 is pretty entertaining, too, if you've never seen it. I'll show you the back of it. Okay. It's just a movie that you guys should actually check out and watch more than one time. And then we're going to talk about one of my favorite Drew Barrymore movies, which is Ever After, which is basically another version of Cinderella, but a little bit more darker. Not to mention that she is incredibly sexy in this movie. Like 5 stars. I definitely recommend checking it out. It is kind of a love drama, but still, she looks pretty good in it, so... And then, Jackie Chan, Owen Wilson, Shanghai Noon, baby. This is one of the most funniest movies ever made, honestly. Essentially, this is one of Owen Wilson's best roles, if you want my honest opinion, for a comedy. Jackie Chan and him just work so well together in movies. I wish they would do more movies together, actually. And yes, this is considered to be a Christmas movie, but Scrooge, Bill Murray, this is honestly one of his best movies he ever made, as far as I'm concerned. And I believe the other woman in this movie, too, is kind of famous, too. I think she was in the show Taxi. And she was in a few other TV shows, too. Oh, she was in The Jerk, too. Forgot about that. And now... So, the Brady Bunch movie, honestly, if you are a fan of the show, I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty funny. The second movie's even interesting, the Christmas special or whatever they did. This is a movie from the 90s, though. It was more modern. But honestly, the jokes in it were pretty funny. And the original woman that played Alice on the TV show, she was in this movie. That was one of her last roles. And now, Adventures in Babysitting. So, I think it's Elizabeth Shue. Hang on here. It does not say on the back. That's weird. Okay. We'll show the back though. The thing that I like about this movie is, yes, it was an 80s movie, but I feel like the comedy was pretty good in it. The plot was pretty interesting. I mean, she's essentially trying to make money on the side, and the kids are basically just driving her nuts. And they have to keep running around basically to escape a guy that basically wants them dead for knowing information, and they get lost downtown. Their car gets stolen by a car thief. It's a pretty funny movie, honestly. If you've never seen it, it's definitely worth checking out. And here we go. Here's the review I wanted to do, actually, to begin with, but I didn't realize that the movies were all the way over here. So, hang on 1 minute, guys. Okay, so, The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. I feel like The Mummy Returns and The Mummy are two of the best movies that Brendan Fraser ever did. The third one is okay, but it's not anything that I would really watch more than one time, frankly. The other movie I wanted to point out too was The Scorpion King, the first movie. I thought that movie was pretty solid. This is one of Dwayne Johnson's first movies, The Rock. I thought he did a really good job with it. If you've never seen it, I would definitely check it out. It's worth your time. So, and hang on 1 minute because I need to get one more movie. Okay, guys, sorry. I had to take a little bit of time to figure it out where it was. So, look who's talking. Kirstie Alley, John Travolta, Bruce Willis. I mean, what more could you say? The cast is pretty good. And then look who's talking too. John Travolta, Kirstie Alley, Roseanne Barr. Pretty good. And then the third movie, which I thought was pretty good anyways, also has Roseanne Barr, John Travolta, Kirstie Alley, and Danny DeVito does the voice for one of the dogs. And I think Bette Midler is the other one. Oh, I'm sorry, Diane Keaton. Was a little wrong on that. So, but still, all three movies are pretty good if you've never seen them before. This right here is the real Fright Night movie. The one that I think is worth watching and worth checking out. I don't like the modern ones. I don't think that they're even worth checking out, frankly. And the girl that played Marcy on Married with Children is also in this movie. She plays the love interest. Wayne's World, it's party time, excellent. So, Dana Carvey and Mr. Mike Myers. So, all I'm going to say is, if you've never seen Wayne's World 1 and 2, oh my god, I feel bad for you, because you've been living underneath a rock. So, what I like about these movies is it incorporates other people into the movie. Like, the first movie has Ed O'Neill in it. It has Alice Cooper. The second movie has Aerosmith, Van Halen. I mean, Drew Barrymore's in the movie too. She plays a Swedish receptionist that Wayne talks to in the movie. It's pretty funny. So Wayne's World 1 and 2, yes, definitely good. So, we're going to move on to Stripes. Stripes, yes, it is a Bill Murray movie, but John Candy's also in it. Harold Ramis is in it. It's definitely worth your time to check it out if you've never seen it before. Good Morning Vietnam. This is a war movie with Robin Williams, but he plays a radio broadcaster who's basically trying to tell everybody the truth about what's going on in the war, and he gets himself in trouble with the government, basically. Solid movie, though, if you've never seen it. And we're going to talk about a Keanu Reeves movie and Sandra Bullock movie, which I think is one of the best movies ever made from the 90s. So, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper. Huh. I didn't know he was in that. Okay. So, I think Speed 1, honestly, is the better one of the two movies. I don't think Speed 2 was anything to really brag about. I think it was like kind of average, honestly. And then the last movies I wanted to talk about, Three Ninjas 1, which yes, it was a kids movie, but at the same time, I feel like it really funny stuff. Um, and then we're gonna move on to the second movie, which I thought was really good because that's when they go to like Japan. Um, so I just think that those are some movies that you guys might not know about or you might have never seen. So this is kind of like my mega pick collection of movies that you guys might be interested in watching. Oh yeah, one more movie I'm going to talk about. Hang on here. Where are you? There you are. Come here. Actually, two movies. So, bring it on, the first movie. Kristen Dunst. This, honestly, oh yeah, this is a special edition too. So, this is essentially a movie kind of making fun of the cheerleading competitions. Honestly, Elijah Dushku is also in this movie. She was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is one of the best Kristen Dunst movies I've honestly seen my whole entire life. I wanted to show you the back of it too. Hoping the light's probably in the way. But yeah, this movie honestly, as a teen comedy drama movie, I felt like it was one of the best ones ever made, frankly. And then we're going to end it South Park, bigger, larger, uncut. Matt and Trey Parker. Even if you're not a fan of the TV show, this movie is freaking hilarious. I've watched this movie so many times to the point to where I can pretty much quote every single song in the movie. The soundtrack was pretty good too. Had like some songs by Master P and Snoop Dogg. Team America World Police is also another good movie by them. There's Orgasmo, which is pretty funny. And then, actually, there's one other movie, sorry. Basketball. Matt and Trey Parker. Jenny McCarthy. And Mr. Robert Stack himself is in the movie. So, let's show you the back of it. This is the last movie I promise I'm going to review. So, essentially, the point of the movie is they develop their own sport because they're not athletes. They're basically considered to be like high school losers pretty much, and then when they get older, people don't really respect them either, so they have to kind of come up with a whole new sport to kind of make popular. It's really funny. They've even aired it on USA Network a few times. Obviously they've had to cut out a lot of the humor and things in it, but if you've never seen it before, I definitely want you guys to check it out. It's definitely worth checking all their movies out, frankly. So yeah, that is your second part to this Sunday review. Much love, everybody. Peace.